I don't know if you guys are noticing the same pattern that I am, but people are really acting wild out here at the thrift stores. I've been thrifting my entire life, and within the last handful of years, people's bad behavior in the thrift store has really gotten out of hand. So I think we need to talk about some thrift store etiquette. So I asked you guys in a community tab poll, as well as over on Instagram, what you think some thrift store etiquette or unspoken rules are that you abide by and wish others would abide by. So let's talk about them today. Let's see how much I agree or disagree with you guys. Because obviously I know my core audience, I know you guys would never do these things, right? Right? I think some of it is probably a symptom of life post-2020, post-pandemic lockdowns, where people are truly just incapable of interacting out in public with people. Like, I don't like it either, I get it, but I'm not talking about just like awkward, anxious behavior. Like, sometimes it goes beyond just everyone's a little socially awkward now and just goes into straight up unhinged territory, like why would you ever do that? Kind of stuff. So let's start with talking about general behavior while browsing the aisles. Let's see, this person says, when someone decides to browse down the aisle against the grain of everyone else, think driving on the wrong side of the road vibes. This is one of my biggest pet peeves while thrifting. If I am going down the aisle in a particular direction, and it's very clear what direction I'm going, and then someone comes in on the same side against the grain or the opposite way that I'm going. Now, it's one thing if they're just kind of like looking at stuff and they easily go around me and they don't try to get super close, but I've had people come into an aisle after I've already started on a direction and they just get like right up in your personal space, and it's like, can you just can you just? It's another thing when the person comes in from the opposite way and then acts like I'm the rude one for not giving them the right of way when I was there first, going the other direction. So yeah, definitely agree with that one. Do ask politely if you need to grab something that's currently in front of somebody else. Don't shove your hand in front of them to grab it and pull it over them. Oh my gosh, please. I hope this would go without saying. But again, the number of times this has happened to me, like why do people think this is okay? I do think I have a slightly larger personal bubble than a lot of people. I don't know if that's just being introverted or what. I just don't want people that close to me. But I would think that this would annoy anyone, to just be minding your business shopping and then a hand just shoots in front of you. I have a story about this. Sorry, I might be going off on tangents and little stories about my thrifting misadventures. Please leave your thrifting misadventures regarding thrifting etiquette in the comments as well, because I'm sure we can all commiserate on this. A while back, I was thrifting at a place near where my parents live, and people are generally very polite and kind where my parents live. It's actually a really nice change from my local area. But anyway, I'm going along thrifting down an aisle, and I noticed this lady going around the store kind of like has this frenetic energy as she's going through the racks. But I'm like, whatever, she's doing her own thing. I'm not gonna pay her any mind, but I did clock it. I did clock her frenetic energy like the moment I saw her. And then unfortunately, she wanted to come down the aisle that I was browsing. So I'm going along my way. I have my cart in front of me, pushed fairly close to the rack, as close as it can be without being like under the clothing. And she comes up right behind me and goes, "Excuse me." And I thought she meant that she couldn't get past my cart to keep going down the aisle. So I was like, oh, okay, sure. And I tried to move my cart closer to the clothing, like up under the hangers basically. But that wasn't what she meant. That wasn't what she meant, because I moved my cart. Next thing I know, she squeezes between me and my cart and pushes my cart away, shoves her hand in front of me and starts looking at the clothes right in front of me and just frantically continuing to go down the aisle. And I was so taken aback that someone would do that. I wanted to say something, but she seemed unhinged. Like I was a little bit afraid that she would hurt me. That was her energy. And so I just looked at her and I went, okay. Like, what? I don't know. I kind of wish I would have just said, hey, that was rude. I kind of wish I would have said something. You know what? That person could have been on something too. Just that very so it's probably better that I didn't say anything. You never know, guys. You never know. It's wild out there these days. So it happens. It happens from time to time. That was the most aggressive case of it that I've ever experienced. But bro, just don't do that. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard to not do that. I think if someone is looking in a section that you want to look at, just wait for them to move on. Even if you have to awkwardly park in the aisle and look at your phone for a minute to wait for them to move on, it'll be fine, I promise. Or you don't have to look at every single item on the rack. I do that sometimes. If I am going a certain direction and someone's moving slower and I don't want to bother going around them, or I can't, I'll just skip that section and maybe I don't get to look at 5 to 10 items in an area. Oh well, it was very unlikely that the thing I'm looking for is exactly there anyway. So anyway, one that might be specific to Europe, we have a lot of those round clothing rail things that one can turn. Don't start turning from the other side while someone is just taking out and looking at an item. I'm assuming it's like a round clothing rack that spins, I'm assuming. I don't usually see those for clothing. We do have round clothing racks, but they don't spin. I've seen them more for accessories and jewelry. A couple of my thrift stores have them, those displays that spin. Yeah, if someone is looking at the opposite side, like don't spin the display. Just walk around the display. Or again, just like pause and wait, or go look at something else and then come back. Don't block off an aisle to stop other shoppers from looking at those clothes. Yeah, I would think again that this should be obvious. Now sometimes aisles are very narrow and it really can only fit one person and their cart going in one direction, so sometimes that's unintentional. Most places that I shop, there is at least enough room for someone to squeeze by if you push your cart close enough to the rack. Again, like just try to be mindful of that. To do this intentionally is wild. It's happened to me only a couple of times and it was just baffling. I just went to a different section of the store until that wacko lady left, and then I went back and looked at the section I wanted to look at. Why? Someone's gonna be mad at me for this. I have never experienced these negative behaviors from men in the thrift store. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Ladies, we need to do better. We gotta stop treating each other like this. It's insane. If you're on the same rack as someone and getting close, ask to switch sides. I'm not sure what you mean by ask to switch sides, but I'm guessing this means like if you're either shopping in the opposite direction or even in the same direction but you're moving faster, go around the person, or you can say, oh, excuse me, can I get past you? Don't take up the whole aisle, move your cart when someone is coming by. Again, just be aware of where your cart is and don't intentionally block people off because that's so rude. It's so rude and unhinged. Flip through the rack towards someone and swap. I know there's limited characters on Instagram, but the lack of punctuation is like, what am I reading? Okay, flip through the rack towards someone and swap. Don't creep up behind or start farther away. Yeah, again, I think this is also about if you're going the opposite direction or the same direction. I think it really just comes down to like, give people some freaking space. When it comes to browsing the aisles, the common theme through all of these is just give people some freaking space. I know everyone's gonna have a different comfort level when it comes to how close they feel okay being to people. And so someone getting right up next to me might not bother someone else, but it bothers me. I don't expect random shoppers at the thrift store to know that, but if you're reaching a hand in front of me to look at something, that is crossing a line. If you come up, half a foot away from me in your browsing, but then politely just go around me, I'm not gonna be that bothered. Even though it was closer to my personal space than I would like, I would not take that as rude because you're just going on about your business. And then a couple people submitted answers regarding stuff falling off of the racks while browsing. Don't take an item out, rip another one off the hanger while doing so, and kick the fallen piece under the clothes. If you're able to bend down and pick the item up and put it on the rack, do that. I know not everyone's able to bend down easily and pick stuff up, but if you can, even if you didn't knock it off the rack, if I see stuff on the ground, I usually try to pick it up and put it on a hanger or just lay it over the rack if I can't find one. Pick up any dropped hangers or other items that may become a tripping hazard. Again, same thing. Yes, do that if you're able. If you knock something off a hanger, fix it to the best of your ability. Yes, again, same idea. If you knock something off, pick it up. I feel like that should just be like a general rule anywhere. It's like if you make a mess, clean it up. If you knock something over, pick it up. If you spill something, clean it up. Just general rules to live by. Like if you made a mess in your own house, hopefully you would clean it up. Do the same at the thrift store. The next common category that you guys submitted is behavior in the dressing rooms or lack thereof. Sometimes there aren't dressing rooms. So this person says, don't try on clothes in the aisles. I don't want to see your underwear. I had to include that one because it just kind of made me laugh. I have not ever seen people stripping down to their underwear to try on stuff. That is pretty wild and public indecency. Pretty sure you can get in trouble for that. So don't do that. Some places don't have dressing rooms, in which case it is best to wear like a tight-fitting either bodysuit or like tank top and bike shorts or leggings, whatever, which can still be a little revealing, but it's not your underwear. Like something over your underwear, and then, make do that way as best you can. Similarly, with no dressing rooms, if there are no changing rooms and only a single random mirror at the end of an aisle, don't hog the mirror. Yeah, I would hope that goes without saying. I can't say that I have personally had this problem. I do have one local thrift store where there's just like a random mirror in the corner, and I don't really see people trying stuff on in front of it. I have used it a few times, so I haven't seen this be too much of an issue. If you see someone else waiting for the mirror, maybe take turns going back and forth where while you're taking off and putting on the next item, they can use it and you can kind of swap back and forth. I don't know. Just don't dilly-dally. Don't dilly-dally. Keep it moving. We got 2 about how long you take in the dressing room. This one says, don't take endless items into a dressing room and spend 30 minutes trying them on, and don't trash the dressing room. Obviously, please don't trash the dressing room. If you see people waiting for the dressing room, you have to hurry up or take high priority items to try on, and perhaps go to the back of the line with the batch you couldn't try. I kind of disagree with this one. Like, I 90% agree. I would say to both of these, again, yes, do not hog the dressing room or the mirrors. Try to keep up a good pace and don't waste time in there. But I don't know the statement you have to hurry up or only take high priority items. If I've waited 5, 10, 15 minutes for a dressing room to become available and then it's finally my turn, I'm gonna take my turn. That being said, if I see someone with only a couple of items, if they ask to just try on their few items really quick, I'll let them go, or maybe even offer, hey, do you want to try those on real quick? Because I've still got a bunch more. But I don't think we should just be expecting people to give up their turn when they have already waited. Like, everybody's waiting. Try to be cognizant of the people around you who don't have as many items to try on and maybe let them go ahead of you. But my thought too is there are some people who don't have the time to go thrifting, so maybe this is their one time to go out and they've piled up stuff and it's like, this is the only time I have. I hired a babysitter, I only have so much time to be out here. Consistently having to go to the back of the line is just adding so much time. So again, I know that's like really specific. In general, I agree with this. As far as like, don't be a hog and don't waste time. Try to get in and out quickly if possible. I've hardly ever had it be that crowded. But also, if there's like no one waiting, I might take 30 minutes. I might take 30 minutes and I will not feel shame about it. And then this person says, regarding clothing that you have tried on and don't want, putting clothes back in the right spot. Yes, with a slight caveat. It does really frustrate me when thrift stores don't have a spot outside of the dressing room to put back the things that you don't want. I know not every thrift store has space for that. A lot of my tiny local ones don't. It can be hard to find exactly where everything came from, so just do your best. If this is the case where you have to put stuff back yourself, do your best. Yeah, try to match category and size if you're able. But also, if the thrift store is not providing a space to put unwanted items, they probably understand that they are risking stuff being put back in the wrong spot. That's the trade-off. I would love if people who actually work at thrift stores could weigh in on any of these, because I don't work at a thrift store, so I can't say from an insider's perspective in that way. The last one I have from you guys is about donating items. This says, wash, dry, fold if appropriate donation items before packing them up. No one wants your dirty, crumpled pieces. Yeah. Again, this is one that I would love if someone who works at a thrift store could weigh in on. Does folding clothing items matter? I would think presentation-wise, at least, it feels like the person took a little bit more care in packing them up for the thrift store. But obviously, wash your items, wash your clothing items before donating them. Don't be gross, don't be gross. It's already gonna get a little bit dirty, again, being mixed in with the hodgepodge of things at the thrift store, being mixed with whatever dust and dander is coming from other people's homes and random smells and other detergents. I had someone vehemently disagree with me years ago about what stuff could or could not be donated because they insisted that their thrift store washed everything and could use everything and they would run discounts and blah blah blah. And I was like, that's great, that's awesome that your thrift store does that. I know for a fact my thrift stores are not washing the clothing items. I think maybe they spritz them with something because there's like a consistent smell throughout the store, maybe a disinfectant, but they're not washing it. So like, dude, just wash the stuff that you are donating. And please, I hope it goes without saying, wash any clothing that you are buying. Don't wear it before washing it from the thrift store or any store. It's just not good practice. I did also browse Reddit for a few examples just in case I got nothing from you guys. I was a little worried. I was like, I don't know. I could post this poll and nobody responds. Nobody cares. But thank you guys for responding. But I did have a couple things from some discussions over on Reddit that I thought were kind of interesting. So this is specifically regarding people reaching into someone else's cart and taking stuff out that they have already selected. Thankfully, I have never experienced this personally. There was a surprising amount of people on Reddit discussing what they do to combat people reaching into their carts and just taking stuff out. That is completely unhinged. Like, I think that goes a step beyond reaching in front of someone browsing on the racks. Like, to reach in someone's cart and just take something out, that's you need some help. If you're doing that, you need some help. So I saw a lot of people saying that to deter people from stealing out of their cart, they will cover up what they have found with something ugly or just like a random sheet. That's crazy. The fact that people feel like they have to do that. Don't be afraid to tell people to back off and get out of your space. I wish I were that brazen, but again, I'm afraid of people being like truly unhinged, truly unwell, and attacking me or hurting me. And then someone shared a personal account that I thought was incredibly frustrating. I probably would have lost my mind. They were shopping with their baby. Someone asked them to move because she wanted to look at the exact spot that they were standing in. She says, I accommodated the other shopper by moving my stroller, and when that wasn't enough, I said, I'm shopping too. It was incredibly awkward to then shop alongside this person. No etiquette. But I like that response of, I'm shopping too. Like, you can just chill. And then they followed up and said, I think she wanted to be standing exactly in the space my baby and I were occupying. If someone's in the section/area I wanted to peek at, I take a lap around the store. Yeah, I think we said this earlier about browsing. If someone's in the exact spot that you want to be in and they are not moving quick enough for you, just like pause, go look at a different section and come back. I have to do this all the time and it's mildly frustrating, but you'll be fine. And then I want to end on this one from Reddit because I think it kind of touches on what I said earlier about this feeling like a post-pandemic issue somewhat. So maybe we need a post-pandemic solution. I don't like anyone getting too close to me at the thrift, so I will usually leave and go to another aisle or start coughing or talking to myself if someone is in my space. I love the slightly petty solution to this because I've noticed like you can't cough or sneeze at all anymore without people just having like the most paranoid reaction. And unfortunately in the winter when everyone has the heat blasting, I cough more from just a dryness in my throat. And especially if the thrift stores have the heat blasting, you're gonna have the same issue, or just dust and weird smells in the thrift store can make me cough. It's not a sick cough, it is my respiratory system doing its job. So I don't know, maybe that could be a good defense though against people getting weirdly close to me. Just kind of start doing a little I'm not quite bold enough to start pretending I'm insane and talking to myself, but that would be my second line of defense. I did have a funny experience observing someone talking to themselves at the thrift store sometime last year, very loudly, very intense, politically charged statements they were making. They weren't necessarily angry, they were just like excitable and saying stuff really loud, and you could tell everyone in the area was a little bit amused, but then she started getting louder and more intense, where it went from amusement to discomfort, and like someone from management had to come out and be like, ma'am, you can't be going on like this. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. She kept going on, just not as loudly, but hey, no one wanted to shop near her, so I don't know, maybe she was onto something. There's something about the thrift store that like brings out the really frenetic energy people, and I don't like that. But I also don't like spending retail on my clothing, so you know, it's the sacrifice we make for saving money and reducing waste, I guess. Thank you again so much to everyone who submitted an answer. I would have had a really hard time putting together this video without you guys. I think what it really comes down to is just give people some personal space, be patient, don't break stuff, try to clean up after yourself, don't leave a mess behind. It should be basic common courtesy stuff, but common courtesy and common sense are not that common, unfortunately. Yeah, this was probably just a case of me preaching to the choir, because if you submitted these answers, that you don't need me telling you how to behave at the thrift store. This is more, I guess, just to have a venting session and commiserate together. Again, let me know your crazy thrifting stories down in the comments, because I know y'all have them. I know you have them. If you made it to the end of this video, leave any emoji that is red down in the comments. I'll let you guys pick. It just has to be red, okay? And again, thank you so much for watching and hanging out today. If you enjoyed hanging out, make sure that you subscribe so that we can hang out again next time. And I will see ya when I see ya. Goodbye. But if I lay down